Welcome, guys, to Professor Justin, and I'm Professor Justin. I really wish I had a cooler name like Jim, or is Jim the only one that has uses?
Yeah, he's the
his
only
handle?
loser with the a screen name shit. Jim Tendo 86. Yeah, he's the only one.
Sweet, then never mind. I'm glad I have my name. But I'm your host. This is Justin. I have with me the awesome Todd, who's doing everything again for
Super producer.
super
maybe?
producer.
I forgot I have a nickname. Yeah.
You do have a kind of a nickname, yeah. Sorry.
I'm trying to separate from that side of the world. This is our little corner of the world. But no, super producer and co-host Todd is here with Andrew.
Excuse me, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, wait.
You mean the ranting media that extended its hand and gave you this podcast?
Biting the
Correct.
hand that feeds already.
Don't want to do that. I
want to be like you, Dad.
I'm going back to fighting the Reapers. I'm done with this.
Tell me more about those Reapers, actually.
Yeah.
I told you all about it. You ignored it.
What's your favorite shop on the Citadel? Is it our
It's the
second
one
co-host?
that sells all the fish.
Oh, I thought it was the one owned by our second co-host,
No.
Nick.
Yeah, hello. What?
You run the best shop on the Citadel, apparently.
I don't know what that is. Is this
Black
some
people
kind
on
of thing?
Citadel?
As I said earlier, we also have Andrew here.
Hello.
I don't have a snappy tirade over for him.
No, it's okay. I'm happy to be here either way. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you're here. So thanks.
I'm just happy to be included.
Yeah, guys. Usually I'm the one that says that. Now we get to tell it to him. No. So we are all here. We are with me as we discuss all things fun. The form of this will change a little bit as we find the footing. I am doing another episode about the glorious monsters.
The Digimons?
The Digimons. They don't quite fit in your pockets the same way, but they can one day.
You mean like the Tamagotchi mons?
Tamagotchi mons. Yes, absolutely. We are doing our second episode on Pokemon, but it will be the last as we kind of evolve and form this into a different style of thing in the future.
$5 said it's not.
Oh, you will be wrong in 4 weeks when we do the next
Now
episode.
when we railroad it back
If
into
it survives.
Pokemon.
You gotta make the goal.
Yeah, you're right. I gotta hit the goal. So, like the thing, tell your friends about it. Let everyone know, hey, listen to this, and let's add it on and get to that 30 listener limit. Does it stop at 30, or does the next episode have to hit 40 and then 50 and so on?
Undecided.
Okay, so right now, let's get this to 30. It hit 25 last time, so hoping we can break 30 as a group. But we are talking about the mons that go into your pockets. Again, specifically, I wanted to have a conversation with you guys because, last time we talked about the history and everything, I know I'm pretty much the only one I think that's consistently played Pokemon since 1996.
That's not true at all.
I've
played every generation.
I thought you said you didn't play X and Y.
No, I played X and Y.
Okay, so me and Todd.
The only one I didn't go more than one gym, quote unquote, was Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon.
That's fair because nobody did.
Exactly.
So I have a very strong opinion with what was announced about a month ago, which is, if no one knew, Diamond and Pearl, which was the first DS game and the fourth game in pairing in the series to come out, got announced with a remake about a month and a half ago at this point, and 2 months ago at this point. Sorry. I have a very strong opinion about it. I think it's being used to garner nostalgia fair in an age and a generation where nostalgia is used to garner
money.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to play it because I actually have only played those games once, and that was Pearl on the DS in high school. But it's weird because, I personally feel like this is to capitalize on a lot of the younger adults aged 20 to 25 who may have played that as a kid, and this is their first Pokemon game. And I wanted to start with the discussion topics with you guys of more so for Nick and Andrew. When did y'all stop playing?
Yeah,
Yes.
Stop playing is the question? Yeah.
Yes.
What's it? Gold and silver?
Okay.
I think it's about when I stopped, because they had, like, what is it? Pokemon pageants and whatnot that you had to worry
beauty
about?
contest.
Yeah, the
And
beauty contest was
remember-
Gen 3. That Gen 2 was it was more of just like the showing of like you use moves to garner like, oh hey, your Pokemon looks awesome. Less on the beauty. Beauty was introduced in Ruby and Sapphire, but fair enough.
really?
Yes.
Why do I remember that? Because I never played Ruby Sapphire, and
All right,
I
which
remember
one
it pretty
was
vividly.
I think it was Ruby Red, or whichever one was the red one on the Game Boy Advance.
That's Fire Red,
Fire Red. Okay.
which is
Yeah,
a
that-
remake of Gen
That's
1.
just a remake, yeah.
Well, that was the last Pokemon game, so that generation is when I stopped.
Okay.
Did you
So-
play it and you were just like, derivative?
Same shit, different packaging.
So what caused you guys to stop? Let's start with you, Nick. Why did you stop at Fire Red and Leaf Green and kind of the Game Boy Advance world? Was it age? What was it exactly?
Oh, okay. It was, well, derivative. I mean, it was the same thing over and over again, so I really didn't care to play that. I wanted something with a little bit more substance as far as my gaming and stuff. Like, as far as story, okay, I'm beating the Elite Four again. All right. I gotta catch monsters. Is there any like special thing that I get for catching all the monsters? Oh, just the ability to say I can. All right. And yeah, it just turned into the same thing and over again. Yeah, they added like a couple of new types. So there wasn't just the same old with the rock, paper, scissors. You had a few more, but eventually it didn't add enough that I wanted to go back. And since then, even after I've seen the newer games come out with a lot more stuff added to it,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just lost the luster of wanting to go back to it.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I think that's very like that's a very real thing that a lot of people have established over the years. That just in general, we felt like it's very derivative. So nothing like the introduction of breeding or competitive meta or anything that never brought you like you never looked at that. Oh, that's kind of cool. I want to learn that.
Yeah, because like I see the mega evolutions and graphical advancements and gameplay enhancements that they've done to Pokemon, especially now with the different types of things that they've done with other derisions of Pokemon over the years, like Pokemon Go, and then you have those other games, which was the Mystery Dungeon. That's Pokemon kind of related, or that is Pokemon related. And then you had the offshoots, which use different elements from other games into Pokemon, like was Pokken, which
Pokken
is just
tournament?
Yeah.
just Tekken with Pokemon.
Hell yeah.
So did you even play any of those though? Like or Andrew,
No.
I know you're into fighting games. Did you play Pokken?
He's not into fighting games.
No, he was asking you.
Oh,
Yeah.
me. Oh, I'm sorry. So I played the demo of Pokken.
What'd you think of it? Because
Uh,
I thought that was great. Like just as a fighting game, that was a lot of fun to me.
So I'm not a big fan of any when something is isometric, it's really hard for me to get into it. Like it's one of the reasons why like Hades was one I was kind of like, oh, I don't know.
You're a fool for waiting on that.
I know.
I still haven't bought Hades, so
No,
So-
I got it yesterday. It's a good trip.
So, but isometric games just aren't really anything I get jazzed about. But the fighting in it, I don't know what it didn't really click with me. And I love Tekken.
Yeah,
That's one of the things
like,
that
a lot of people slept on it, not knowing that the gameplay was incredibly similar to Tekken 7.
You okay? Agree to disagree there.
You don't think it was a lot like it?
I didn't get that feeling. I mean, maybe it's just because it's like I'm not playing a character I've known since like I was a kid on PlayStation playing, Tekken way back in the day. Like sure they're characters that I know, but I think because you asked Nick a bit, another thing that made me kind of stop playing was I stopped caring about the Pokemon in a way. Like the new iterations and stuff.
You guys are both telling me that you don't care about a literal pile of trash being in your team.
Or a sandcastle. Or a sword.
Whoa. The sword Pokemon was cool.
Yeah, so was the sandcastle.
No, you're wrong.
Or a thing of keys.
Y'all are forgetting the best
I kind of feel like when they bring out the literal god of Pokemon and then you could catch it inside of a Pokeball and then still like get wrecked by fucking Gary, then that might be jumping the shark a bit.
Even better, you didn't even have to catch that Pokemon. GameStop just gave it to you.
It is one of so Arceus is one of like 7 Pokemon you can only get from like an event, whether it's GameStop
store, yeah.
Yep. So Todd and I
you can get all the plates that make them different types. Who gives a fuck? Oh my god,
that's seriously a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
and then
that Pokemon has, how. Well, I don't know if you know how, because I don't remember when they started letting Pokemon hold items.
Okay, yeah, I know how they hold items.
There's a plate for every single type that you can give to that Pokemon, and it changes the type.
So
which makes them extremely unbalanced if you think about it.
So there are 2 of them that can do that. You're only mentioning one. Two generations later,
or whatever.
In Gen 5. Sorry, a generation later, there was Genesect. It was
the purple bug thing that came free with something.
Black and white, and then it used.
Didn't it come free with like a Burger King kids meal or something?
I thought it was like a pre-order bonus.
You had to pre-order Black 2, White 2, and they gave you the code to get him in Black and White.
And he was super OP because he was over-leveled, and you got him at the beginning of the game.
Not only that, he also was able to be whatever type you wanted him to be because he was Bug, and he used the flash drive to download the second type. So you could make him Bug and Fire or Bug and Flying.
That's right.
Yeah, him and Arceus are the only 2 that you can make into any type of type.
He looked cool though.
Oh yeah.
How and the idea of Pokemon and the lore of Pokemon.
The lure.
Yeah.
A lore.
So I have an animal that I can put a USB in.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a lab creation. I just want that to be established.
But where do you insert that USB?
That's my question.
Up his ass.
Yes. So I don't know why Andrew and Nick aren't interested, but Todd, you and I feel are in the weird kind of amalgamation where we continue to play. I continue to give $40 to $60 to Nintendo every time they announce a new game. I get excited with it.
It's pretty upsetting, right?
I feel bad because like I give people shit all the time who are like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy Overwatch 2," and I'm like, "It's literally the same game. You are literally paying for the same shit."
Right.
But here I am dropping $60 on Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like,
it's nostalgia. That's the only reason you do it.
I wish that's part of me is like, am I reliving it through because it's giving me a connection to my childhood? It's like when you talk to people who collect action figures from their kids or from their childhoods. Like Andrew, you have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming she's getting into the age where you're starting to see she's getting interests that are more beyond Sesame Street and Paw Patrol, maybe into like some of those more older generational toys or things that you were into as a kid. Like, do you get?
We haven't even touched Paw Patrol. That ain't happening in my house.
Yeah, you say that.
Glad. But like, if she were to get into like a reiteration of the Ninja Turtles, like my niece is starting to get into Marvel superheroes, and like she knows Iron Man, which is cool because my favorite superhero is Iron Man. Like buying her those toys, I buy a second one because I'm like, man, this makes me feel like I'm back as a kid. It reminds me of my childhood. Would you get the same satisfaction from your daughter getting into Ninja Turtles or getting into like something Streets of Rage related?
I mean, that would be cool to do. It's also like, really difficult right now just because she's not even 2. But like in the future, yeah, maybe like, one of the things, of course, everybody wants to do is, have their kids sit down and watch Star Wars.
Yes.
That's something that we want to do. I've tried doing it once before with Lily, and she said, nah.
So,
wow, a 1-year-old can't imagine the complexities of Star Wars.
Exactly.
Damn.
I feel like it's a rite of passage, whether it's Power Rangers or Pokemon, that eventually kids get into that.
Yeah, I will say, like, it's if it's colorful, if it's got music, there's a good chance that she's going to sit there and watch it, because that's all she wants right now.
What I'm getting into is, like, will that bring you back in? Would you play Pokemon computer and laptop in 10 years with her?
Computer and laptop, yeah, right, Nintendo.
But, like, would you do that with her and get that sense of nostalgia, or would it just be a thing you do with... Because I have friends who play Pokemon with their kids, because he's like, oh, she was learning how to read, and he was consistently playing it through his adulthood, and he's like, it's cool because now it gives me even more of a reason to love that from my childhood.
So I will, like, Lily is getting good with like the phones, being able to understand a touchscreen and everything. And so I'll let her just sit there and look at Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Because it's colorful, she can throw stuff, and she literally cackles. Like, I've never heard her cackle as she's doing anything, but yeah, she will just love every minute of it if she is throwing a Pokeball, and it doesn't even have to hit the Pokemon. As long as it goes flying, she loves it.
Nice. So, like,
why don't you have her watch Pokemon Snap so it looks better?
No, we have actually, because we have the new Pokemon Snap, and so she'll sit there, she'll watch it.
What caused you to buy that? Because, like, for me to buy it was my girlfriend wanted to play it, and like, I looked at it, I was like, cool, that's a part of my childhood. As much as I liked Pokemon Snap, it's not my favorite game. But, like, what made you buy it? I remember you saying it was because you loved Pokemon Snap as a kid.
Yeah, no, it is actually. I loved Pokemon Snap as a kid. I mean, I'm still playing it going, I've never even heard of this Pokemon a lot of the time. But, You mean to tell me you've never heard of Apom? No, I know Apom. I saw Detective Pikachu. Hold up.
I mean, it's no Hey You Pikachu, but Pokemon Snap was all right.
Nice. So, like, I guess I have to ask Nick. You've avoided a lot of these games. What is there not been a lure that's been made you go like, man, I want to get back into that? Excuse me.
What was the Pokemon Conquest?
The Dynasty Warriors knockoff?
Yes.
No, it wasn't Dynasty Warriors, but
it was a Fire Emblem knockoff. If anything.
Yeah, it was a Fire Emblem kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was like a tactics game. No, Dynasty Warriors would be...
If you're not looking it up, Todd, look it up. I think you'd actually like it.
Oh, I'm busy learning.
But if it was Dynasty Warriors, that'd be pretty interesting Pokemon game. Kind of weirdish, but I mean, it'd be enough to, I don't know, touch an hour upon if somebody bought it for me. But but for Pokemon Conquest, that seemed interesting just because it was like old warring nations if they had Pokemon, and the gameplay style was just, a tactics style RPG. But other than that, no, a lot of the Pokemon games just doesn't look interesting to me, because they are aimed for children and they don't have like a lot of depth to them.
See, and that's I'm going to challenge you on that, because I think that they have incredible depth if you learn the mechanics that are in that depth. Like, you learn what makes a Pokemon really good for whether it's online or not. Like, there is an entire realm of Pokemon players that all they do is they find the best way to breed one.
Sorry, I think Todd's laughing at the
Why is
Pokemon
this so
Conquest.
unbalanced? There's one dude that has a fucking Mewtwo, and the other dude has an Eevee.
So you're looking at the Conquest game, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's insane, but
And I
I'm
think
just
the
gonna go play
Eevee,
Advance
the
Wars.
Eevee guy is he's like the main character.
No, he's not.
no, he had a shiny Rayquaza, the main character he had, like the main villain, and I thought that was cool.
No, not the main villain, but the main character that you play as.
Yeah.
Does
Like he
does he at
starts
least-
with an Eevee, I think, and he can
Yeah.
get more Pokemon. But I haven't played the game. That's just from the trailers and the little bit that
I mean,
looked up.
to be fair, in some form of media for Pokemon, there is a character that like starts out with an Eevee. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like manga or something.
Yeah, I think it's Yellow. The character Yellow in the manga
Yeah.
starts with an Eevee. But so that's the thing, like,
And Gary starts with a Rattata and then gets fucking
yep. But like,
All right, so I hear
to-
what you're saying,
Yeah.
Justin. Where yes, it does have depth, and I remember from the last episode you were telling us about the different the hidden stat types, the different stats and types that came out more to help balance everything. It's just I feel it's the same thing, like how there's such an if you can see the base level of chess, and then there's intricacies of chess, but I don't give a shit about chess.
Good
So
good point.
I-
And then
if I know how to play chess, I've played chess before. I've won chess and I've lost chess. But then, do I want to keep playing chess just to play people who only play chess, or do I want to join a subreddit about chess? No.
and that's the thing, like, the Queen's Gambit got really popular last year.
Yeah, it got really popular, and I
cost
just saw like an SNL sketch about like people talking about the Queen's Gambit, saying that it got 1 million people to play chess, and dozens of people actually stuck with it.
Dozens.
And that's the thing, like, I had friends who bought chess books and they wanted to learn strategies, and I was like, hey, good for you. This isn't my bag. But like during quarantine last year, I learned every intricacy about a Pokemon in Sword and Shield because that was something I was just interested in. And I'm totally like for that type of opinion. I think a lot of people just like, I've always wondered what would bring somebody back in. What would bring you back in? Like, would it be, Andrew, would you come back if like they had a super serial anime about it, like Pokemon Rusty?
That one. Oh, Rusty? Rusty was serial?
No.
Super serial.
But I mean, like the retconned canon of the movies
I see.
that Todd's showing on screen right now. That came from like the rebooting where they did the movies for the 20th anniversary. That was a lot more serious. Would that be anything you were interested in, or not really? I mean, he's about to kill Whoopers if you're watching the stream.
I am watching the stream. So they look fine. They just spit water back at him. They're fine. So I think for me to just even consider going back to Pokemon, they'd have to do a lot of newer things. Which I mean, you do forget that I did buy Sword and Shield.
I did forget that. I'm sorry. So did you play? You put in what, about 15 hours, 20 hours?
So I put in enough hours to go, that's enough. And I think I got maybe 5, maybe 6 badges, and it's just like it's
the same grind.
Not deep enough for me to warrant like that Pokemon has changed, because it's still a lot of the same stuff that you did even in the first one, you know. Which I get. It's not broke, don't fix it kind of scenario.
So
yet they keep trying to fix it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this, and Todd, I think you and I had a little bit of a conversation. With the announcement of the remakes, they announced that Legends game, Arceus, where it's Breath of the Wild's gameplay, but with Pokemon style. Would that bring you in? would that make you want to talk
What
about?
or when you say Breath of the Wild gameplay, do you mean you're a trainer or
Yes.
you're a Pokemon?
You're a trainer.
You're a trainer.
So, from what we've seen with the gameplay, realize this is all still free-forming concept. The concept was that you were a trainer in an open world. Everything is on the map in front of you, and the transitioning from like trainer to battle is seamless. You'll throw a ball in real time and either send a Pokemon out to battle, whatever you're seeing on the map, or even going further than that, maybe seeing something like trying to catch a Pokemon with no interaction to the battle whatsoever. That would be something that I think might be what you guys are looking for, changing the world, changing the way a little bit. At least I feel that's what it is for me.
So there's a couple of things that I could add to that.
Okay.
Because Sword and Shield, one of the things that really drew me in was the idea that it is a free roam kind of thing. It is this, three-dimensional game,
Right.
like which I tried X and Y, I didn't really care for it. And so this one here, I was like, okay, well, it's a little bit more open, and I can free roam, and the Pokemon are just out,
Yes.
and you can just see them, and I can go and I can try to catch them, I can battle them, I can do whatever. So that was part of it for me to want to get into Sword and Shield. The thing that I guess this I had to like work with people to catch these special Pokemon in these little red pink holes in the ground or whatever. That one wasn't exactly my favorite part. I'm not really big on playing games with a bunch of strangers personally.
Fair.
So
I get that.
But for me to kind of go, I want to catch this, what is it? Dynamax Snorlax, right? Yeah. I want that one. That one looks cool. I have to rely on, Baka A and Baka B just to, be like, cool, I got a shot at that.
So, exactly. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Legends trailer or anything like that, or seen anything about it. I think it looks amazing. I think it's what a lot of people have needed, which is a breath of fresh air in a franchise that has felt incredibly stale for at least a decade at this point.
I know what you're talking about. I remember the Pokemon thing came out, and it was like this feudal Japan.
Yeah, it exactly. And if you're watching the stream, it's on screen now. I think this is the breath of fresh air it needed, and to that point, I think this is the time to introduce that, because this is when the franchise is in its highest point. I mean, we were talking about that as a group earlier today. Pokemon cards are 5 times the cost they should be in stores.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know if you guys even have bought a pack in the last decade.
I have absolutely no reason to do that.
Nope.
Yeah. Todd, have you?
I have. No, I can't afford that shit.
I can't afford it now. I did at one point.
I bought Pokemon cards for my friends. That collect them, and I can tell the prices have gone up. But I don't really see the reason why.
I think it's what I opened the show with, which is it's nostalgia. I think people are riding high on the nostalgia factor of this franchise.
Or money.
Yeah, I think a friend of ours, Jim, he's one who said that the collector's market for a lot of things is just going like skyrocketing for all different types of medium and collectibles.
It's funny.
As far as people, like there's a whole idea right now with millennials and younger people and people around 40 and under, where if I'm not spending money on a kid or something like that, then I have just disposable income. What am I going to do with it? And there's also I shouldn't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks. So instead of spending their money on useless bullshit decor around their house just to have like bullshit parties, then they're going to spend it on things that they like looking at. And what do they like looking at? Well, shit from their childhood. And so they just buy a bunch of that. Then they go a little overboard with it and start buying like statues, Pokemon cards, just anything with the face of whatever property they're looking for, and overspending on it. And then people are seeing that they're overspending on it, so they just mark up the price, saying, well, people are paying this money for it, let's just make that the default. And it's sort of an inflation of supply and demand.
Fair. And I think supply has never been lower and demand has never been higher. Let's just be real. Like,
yeah, but the problem is supply isn't lower. Like, it's not lower to print hard stock cards.
Right. Some paper companies are making bank right now off all this shit.
You're not wrong, but here's the thing about that. Like, and this is my opinion of it. I say stock has never been lower because over the we've gotten to a point where I say demand is the lowest it's ever been because of the fact that, like, over the past 10 years, I imagine those cards have not sold because the key demographic from when they were a thing 21 years ago, which is our group, aren't buying them anymore. I haven't bought a Pokemon card in 10 years, 6 or 5 years, I should say. I haven't bought a pack for myself. You guys longer than that. And so now we hit a 20-year mark. People are like, oh shit, I remember that stuff. Now I have to buy it. And now it's through the nose in an area where people, like Nick said, like, you're hitting to that point where the generations now that I think have sold it, or that I think were into it, when they are now getting disposable income, have to just spend it. And they're going to spend it on what they want. And then they're regretting it. Or even more so, you've got sleazy people who are realizing, whether it's Pokemon cards, whether it's PlayStations, whether it's video cards, the intricacies of what it will get in terms of, like, a value back. And we put a value on that. Like, what was it? Geoff said he found a Blastoise card for $220 today. I think it was the total, right, Todd?
Yeah, it was a first run, according to him.
Yeah. So where is that valuation coming from? I don't think it's worth $220. I think it's maybe worth $100. That valuation is coming strictly off that stuff.
Well, yeah, it's just like art, you know. The art world, it's somebody makes a painting and it's just somebody else said, yeah, this is worth $1 million.
Right.
But it's like, is it though?
No,
like it's art that looks like shit. But it's somebody's soul is put on the canvas. But is it worth $1 million? I don't know. And it's the thing where people say, "Oh, well, I mean, I could have painted it," and no, you didn't. But there's that. But then with Pokemon cards, yeah, you got like the Blastoise that's worth a lot, or it's just artificial scarcity that they only print like so many of them, and they say, well, it's worth this much money. It's like, all right, so what's the Pokemon card for playing Pokemon? Well, like the Pokemon card game. So I can print this and fucking play Pokemon card game. So that's an artificial scarcity.
Let me ask you this. Is there, like, something from that, and Nick, I'll start with you. Is there something from that scarcity now that you would, if you were to see it, you were like, I want that, but is it because...
With Pokemon cards? Anything to do with Pokemon cards, I literally don't care.
What about you, Andrew? And would like, if you saw, like, a Charizard card from your childhood
activated.
As a store, at a store,
did that Charizard card come with, like, $1 million, like, handed to me, like, right then?
No, it comes with the nostalgia factor of I had that card as a kid. Would that
absolutely not. I don't need that. Like, there's no reason for someone like me, a grown adult who doesn't play the card game, number one, doesn't collect the cards, number two. That would just need to rush a Walmart, at 7 a.m. To pull cards out of somebody else's hands. Like, that's like, this is This is too much for if it was anime, if it was like not just Pokemon, but if it was anything else, I still would say no. This whatever this is that people are doing, it's not worth it, in my opinion.
Justin, I lied, by the way. I forgot I did acquire Pokemon cards recently.
But the acquirement, was it you traded money for it, or did you like actively just go?
Oh. No, my ex gave it to me. She collects them. She's been collecting them for years. And I was like, one day she was like, "What's your favorite Pokemon?" And I named a few that I like, and that's what she gave me. Like, it's just I have 9 cards.
Hey, some of these are awesome. Like, if it's what you sent me, like that Blastoise you have in the center, I would.
He'd give you $500 cash money right now for that Blastoise.
You know what? Maybe.
See, here's the thing with me. Like, I see that Blastoise in the center, and I go, I recognize that. That is from when I was a kid. That is a card that I might have had, or I knew someone that had. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it now, though, and I'm like, it looks a lot different from what I remember. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that Pokemon power thing. That I don't recognize that.
See, and the thing is, I look at that, and I just see, man, as somebody who collects that type of stuff, and not necessarily Pokemon cards. I've moved on to other card games over the years. I've dabbled in Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm back into looking into getting into Yu-Gi-Oh again. Like, I look at that, and I'm like, all I see is that's a great rare card from my childhood. And would I like to have it? Sure. Do I have to pay $500 for it? No.
You have to, but will you?
This one's weird with a pre-release thing. I never even noticed that.
Those are cool because those were given out at Toys R Us during Pokemon Leagues during the release of that set, and they still do it to today. But it's
not at Toys R Us.
Nah.
R.I.P. round 2. Like going back up, that Dark Blastoise, like to me that's interesting more than anything else because it's not even American. I think that's German that you have, Todd.
So if it was if you're talking about if I would collect any of them, there's only two things that I can think of why I would get the Pokemon cards. Or no, 3. One is just like Todd's situation where it's given to me.
Okay.
Like I'm not going out spending like the hard-earned cash that I worked for to get this. 2 is if I had a card that like I've had since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Like I've never gotten rid of it, or I like go into my parents' attic and then, this is a Pokemon card. If it's not worth it, like much money, or hey, maybe if it is worth some money, I'd keep it for nostalgia value. That's if I already had it. And it is something that is pulled from my childhood. And 3, it would be, you were saying what would get me to get back in it, or if somebody like had the offer of getting some rare Pokemon cards that I like remind me of my childhood, it'd have to be so specific as in the Pokemon card binder that I lost as a child in some Alabama like hotel room. If they pulled that out of time and said, this is what you lost, and I'd recognize that binder from goddamn anywhere. If this is what you lost, would you pay me $1,000 for it? I'd say yes for that, because that is something that was specific to me. But just seeing a duplicate, a replica of something that was from my childhood, no.
Okay. So, and I think that's I love the interaction we've had. I just want to end it with this. So obviously, neither one of you guys, Todd, I know, Todd, I guess I shouldn't assume, like the next game coming out after the remakes next year or this year, assuming next year that Legends games come out.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
I figured you would, because I definitely am.
I also don't buy many games anymore. I used to buy just about everything. I think this year the only game I bought is Mass Effect, and technically that's 3 games
for one.
I've already poured like 30 hours into it, so I've already made my money back basically, and that's on my first run through them. Like,
Fair.
Pokemon can drain so much time. I always find it like it's worth the investment. And I'll always pour at least, well, with the exception of Sun and Moon.
I don't know anyone who poured a lot of time into Sun and Moon, so don't feel bad.
At least like 10, 15 hours into them.
Agreed. I can agree with that, because I think that's where I'm at. I have 125 in Sword and Shield, and I feel like I've got my money's worth out of it. But like, I put $50 into. I'm trying to think of a game. I haven't bought one at minus Mass Effect at full price in the last 2 years.
In Mass Effect, was it $60?
It was 60. I got it.
Worth.
Yeah, and I think it was absolutely worth it. Andrew, would you come back in with this rebuilt game, or are you like so far disassociated you're done?
So I'm not so far disassociated. I'm done. I mean, like, I just bought Pokemon Snap. And I know that it's not, like a traditional Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
But I know from what I've seen from this Legends game or whatever, they do a lot of interesting ideas.
Okay.
I think I would need to see a little more from it, because I know, like, the coloring aspect of everything kind of puts me off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know we looked at the trailer a little bit earlier on the live stream, but it looks like they did cell shading and then they took away the lines.
It kind of does.
It does feel that way.
But
I mean, are you going to pick it up on release next year, or are you gonna hold off and maybe listen to like me and Todd and go, I'll judge it when I see it?
It would be more of a judge it when I see it kind of thing, because I don't think it's done enough to make me go, I got to get that one day one.
Or here's another plan. You can do what Geoff did for Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for me to buy the combo pack. Never get to the second game. Just give it to him, and that's how he got that one. That's how he has Shield.
Hang on, let me write that down real quick.
What about you, Nick? Are you out? Are you disassociated and done?
It's just gotta have something that brings me in. If it's just another Pokemon game, then no, I'm out. But if this Legends game is, it seems like, I'm looking at the trailer for it and it seems okay. It seems like a regular Pokemon game with more steps.
Okay.
But I would watch you guys play it, or not watch you guys play it, but listen to how the experience that you guys had with it, and make an assessment from there. I mean, is this going to have any type of multiplayer?
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, I don't think so.
Didn't Sword and Shield have a multiplayer?
Well, no, Sword and Shield, it's... Oh, wait, are you talking, like, multiplayer?
I'm about to get off.
Multiplayer where Pokemon, like online Pokemon battles, or multiplayer like you and another person in the world of Pokemon? Either or, really. But if it's just like a single player experience, I don't know. I really don't know. Especially if it's just on the Switch. Like, I'm already don't spend like a lot of money on the Switch in games already.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last one. No, that's a lie. I bought Monster Hunter, and that was that's actually another one I spent $60 on, was Monster Hunter, but I put like already 60 hours into it, so I think I got more than enough money's worth out of it.
Yeah, but yeah, as far as Pokemon as a concept, I think it's behind me, maybe. Like, I've had my fun with it, and it's okay. It's like fucking My Little Pony.
I'm sure there's a story there for that one.
No, not for me. I'm saying as a concept, like, it's made for kids. You were a kid. It's time to move on. The My Little Pony that they make today is not for the adults. It's for the kids, but adults latch on to it.
I gotcha. Well,
same thing like Pokemon. It's made for kids. It's nothing wrong with adult liking it. It's just it's not made for adults.
You're not the adult that they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they made a Pokemon game for me, it'd be, a little bit more mature, like
more guns, more blood.
I mean, not more guns, because you got fucking
Pikachu with like an AK.
AK-47. Let's
so
go.
it'd just be Shadow the Hedgehog, but with fucking Pikachu. That'd be rad as hell.
Every time you win a battle, you go back to Cerulean City and you talk to Misty, and if you do it enough times, you can romance her.
Mm-hmm. I'm all in on that one. Let's make that happen.
Let's age her up first, though.
Let me just ask you a question, Justin. Is everyone in Pokemon a vegan or vegetarian? Because there's no other animals other than Pokemon.
So the cartoon establishes they eat like at least the fish ones, because there's an episode where they eat like Magikarp. So I imagine somebody somewhere is eating like a Tauros.
Okay.
A Tauros?
It's a cow. It's
Wouldn't
the only
you eat a milk tank?
You drink the milk
cow.
What about the bison one? There's a bison one in Snap. Can I eat that one?
There's a bison one. Yeah.
I bet you it's gonna taste really gamey. Like if you ask me about that,
have you had bison burgers, bro?
I have. They're amazing.
Yeah, and again, these are all animals with fucking magic powers, so it seemed a little weird, and they all seem to have like a higher sentience than just regular animals. That's weird. So if they made a Pokemon game that delves into that,
I mean,
if Nintendo decides to flesh out a story like that, then hey, I'd be interested.
All right, let's make it happen, guys. I know this isn't long. It wasn't as long as we expected, but I think it was great content. I got my fill. You guys have any closing thoughts or opinions outside of eating?
Stop buying Pokemon cards unless you're a child. It's not meant for you.
Yeah, if you're not playing Pokemon,
if you're not playing the game, don't buy them. I don't buy Magic the Gathering cards because they look pretty, because they do. And I don't buy Yu-Gi-Oh anymore.
Bullshit. I will buy the Kaiju set of Magic the Gathering just to have a Godzilla card.
Yeah, you're a monster. You shouldn't do that.
I'm a part of the problem, not the solution.
Yeah,
and I will own up to that.
Violence is violence.
I hope some nerd with a emo swoop and green hair punches you at Walmart whenever you go get them.
I hate to tell you this, Magic the Gathering is the one that you don't have to line up for. So get fucked.
Yeah, I saw that Target's going to keep those, but it's getting rid of like all the other ones.
Basically, if it came from Japan, so it's part of the institute.
Like baseball cards.
Yeah, baseball cards are gone too.
Oh, yeah.
And so are basketball and football.
Just like Japanese baseball cards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, for me, Justin, I appreciate everything. Guys, if you guys want to do your sound off, I'm all for it.
Sound off.
Sounding off.
Sound is off.
For Andrew, Todd, Nick, I'm Justin. Thank you guys again.
Bye.